Welcome to EDF5664, Learning Through Participation. My name is Jennifer Bleasby and I'm your unit coordinator for this course, as well as the chief examiner. I'm the only person teaching it this semester because it's a very small group. There's only about 16 students enrolled in the course. So this short video is just going to give you an overview of the course, including the sorts of topics that we cover, as well as the type of learning activities and materials you can expect in the course, as well as a brief overview of the sort of assessment that we're going to have. So learning through participation is about approaches to learning that focus on authentic hands-on experience. So learning where people have to get out of the classroom and interact with the real world. In particular, we focus a lot on learning with the community outside the classroom. So going out into the wider community to learn through having exchanges with other people from diverse backgrounds and who do diverse roles in the community. So we're not just looking at learning from the point of view of school students, because not all of you intend on being teachers. This isn't a course just for teacher preparation, although I know that often people do this course because they want to enrol into one of our teaching degrees. But some of you will be more interested in education in informal sorts of learning contexts. So we look at learning, this type of participatory learning in schools, as well as how it might work in universities, but also how it might work within community organisations of all sorts, such as youth groups or charity organisations or organisations that work with people who are disadvantaged, or people trying to find work, or people with disabilities and so on. So the course is broken into two parts. In part A of the course, we look at three key theories or approaches to participatory learning. And the four approaches we look at are experiential learning, critical pedagogy, global education, and community service learning. So it doesn't matter if you don't know what they are yet, because we cover each one in the first 4 weeks of the course. And they overlap quite a bit as well, those four approaches. They're not completely distinct. And we also look at how participatory learning can promote social inclusion for groups of people who are often excluded from society. So that's our key focus. And in week 6, which is the last week of the part A of the course, we look at social inclusion in more detail and different ideas of what social inclusion means and how these different approaches to participatory learning can achieve social inclusion. Then in part B of the course, we look at a range of case studies, and these are just examples of participatory learning in practice. So real examples of people using these different approaches to participatory learning. And each case study focuses on groups of people who are often excluded from society. And we're looking at how in these cases the people are using participatory learning to help include these people, to get them back into their communities and interacting in society and accessing all the sort of resources that are available to them. So in particular, the cases focus on poverty, racism, so people who are excluded because they are poor, because of their racial minority, people who are excluded from society due to ill health. In particular, we look at disabilities of various kinds, crime, which means people who are excluded from society because they are either criminal offenders or at risk of offending. And we look at children's participation rights, so cases that focus on children who are excluded from fully participating in a range of ways, that really focus on including children's participation in community and in society. This is a flexible unit, which means that it is designed in such a way that you can complete the unit from home at a time that suits you, and except for the due dates for the assignments, they're not negotiable, but otherwise you can complete the whole unit online in a time that sort of suits you, working whenever it suits you. So most of the course is online. That means there are weekly online lectures, and these are presented as sets of PowerPoint slides. And within those PowerPoint slides, you will find links to lots of videos as well. So it's a mix of text, images, videos, and presented as one coherent lecture that you can sort of download and save to your computer. But all the videos aren't embedded in those slides. There are links that you click on and will link you out to YouTube where you can watch little short videos. Okay, and there are also weekly online readings, which are on a digital reading list. There's weekly online activities that are on Moodle. These activities are not assessed, they're just there to help you learn each week as you work through the course. And there are also, okay, so even though most of the course is online and it's done in flexible mode, there are also 2-hour face-to-face sessions which run every second week, and they start in the second week of semester. So there's 6 of these in total. Now, these sessions do not cover new material, and they're not lectures. They're just kind of sessions where they're optional sessions where students can come in, and we cover the material that's on Moodle anyway. So it's just if you want some extra support, or you prefer to come in and speak to somebody and ask questions and have somebody explain some of that material in person, that's what those sessions are there for. So people who don't come to those sessions, you're not missing out on something in terms of there's no new content being presented. We're not covering anything new. It's just a sort of a session for students to come in, ask questions and have discussions in person. Because they're not lectures and because they're discussion based, they're also not recorded. So if you don't attend those sessions, you won't be able to view them online. You can't record those sessions because it's not just me standing there explaining something. It's just me and whichever students show up having a discussion about the materials that are there. And so that's the only sort of face-to-face component of the course. Otherwise, the material will all be online. Students who are doing the course completely online and who aren't able to come to any face-to-face sessions can always interact with me and other students on Moodle, and we can also have face-to-face sessions through things like Adobe Connect or through Skype. There are 2 written assessments for this course. Each assessment task is worth 50% of your marks, and each of these assessment tasks is 4,000 words in length, so quite long assessments. The details for both tasks are already in the unit guide, and the marking criteria are already in the unit guide, so you can see all that information already. In addition to that, we have 2 weeks in the course that are focused on each assessment task. So in the week 6 the folder on Moodle, and that's really devoted to going over this assessment task and the components of it, the first assessment task and what you do. And then in week 12 of Moodle, you can see more information and resources to help with the second assessment task. So you can already see the week 6 Moodle folder with information about assessment task 1. That's open if you want to have a look at that early and get a good idea of what you need to do, as well as reading the instructions in the unit guide. So both tasks are submitted via Moodle. The first task is due Monday the 3rd of September at 11:55 at night. Assessment tasks that are submitted late without an extension incur a 5% late penalty. So make sure if you don't think you're going to get it in on time, just send me an email and ask for an extension. And if it's more, your extension's for more than a couple of days, I'm probably going to require that you produce some sort of evidence of why you need an extension, such as a medical certificate. The first assessment task is an essay where you critically compare 2 of the approaches to participatory learning that we look at in Part A of the course. And so, as I said, there's detailed instructions in week 6 on Moodle, which includes instructions for what we expect in terms of essay writing and structure and referencing. The second task is due on Monday, the 29th of October, and this task is a case study analysis, and you have to select at least 1 example of participatory learning and examine how it promotes social inclusion. So all the topics in Part B of the course are actually examples of how you do that task, because every week in Part B we do a case study analysis of a particular case, and that's essentially what you need to do for your second assessment task. You can select any of the cases that we looked at in the course, or you can find your own case, your own example of participatory learning. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the course. Make sure you read the unit guide this week or early next week. And if you have any further questions, you can contact me on email. That's the best way to contact me. And at jennifer.bleasby@monash.edu.